Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of the Monsters Den. We've got in the co-captain's chairs today, Mr. Crepazoids and Mr. Jamie Laszlo. As a matter of fact, today's topic is courtesy of Jamie. This is all about those classic, or maybe not so classic, alien ripoffs. So if everybody remembers, goes back in time to the late 70s when the great Alien film came out. Shortly thereafter and all throughout the 80s, we had a slew, even into the 90s, we had a slew of films that basically took that whole premise and did it a different way with like what, half the budget, a quarter of the budget, an eighth of a budget, right? Whatever it took.
A tenth of the budget, yeah. Sometimes less.
Someone's lunch money.
Yeah. But most of them are a lot of fun if you can kind of suspend.
Some of them are awful.
So so today is kind of like a general discussion day. We're going to just kind of talk about films and some of the ones that are considered these direct ripoffs. And like we were talking off camera, there's also some that are kind of loose ripoffs that have certain things that are similar, but not all. So in saying all that, Jamie, why don't you kickstart this conversation? Let's get talking about a couple of these films here.
All right, cool. Well, you want to have a general conversation. I put mine in order, but I mean, I don't have to do them in order, but I'll do my number 5 anyways. My number 5 is a pretty shitty movie, but I have fun watching it. And Seminoid.
Oh.
This is pure trash. I don't know why
I to buy that so many times. Should I get it?
I just go like this the whole time, but I'm smiling the whole time too. I mean, well, here's the thing: alien ripoff movies, I think, need to have certain things about them, certain aspects. And I actually made a list. You got to have an unknown life form of some sort most of the time. Creepy eggs. You need creepy ass eggs. You need a feeling of isolation, a rescue or research team of some sort, at least one doctor, and all these people normally refer to one another by only their last name. You got to get someone who's the beginning, first quarter of the movie, they got to get fucked up. And a lot of the time, the problem is little when that guy gets fucked up early. And he ends up laying on a table. And a lot of time, the people will be around a table, dinner or something, goofing around. They should, I'm sure Alien didn't start this, but you get bonus points if it starts off with everyone coming out of hypersleep on a long travel of some sort. You need breathing suits with lights, and whether it's a space or ocean, because I will count ocean things on my list. And at some point in the movie, steam should be coming from a pipe somewhere. Yeah. And now you got your alien ripoff. I don't know if you guys want to add to that or not.
That's a pretty comprehensive list, I would say.
And this has got it's got the research group of scientists, the dumbest fucking scientists you'll ever see in your life. Breathing suits with lights, the worst breathing suits you'll ever see. I mean, the flap comes down, right? And it's supposed to protect them from the atmosphere on this frozen planet. And it just comes down and it doesn't even click or there's no clasp. It's almost like a welding thing. And the breathing tubes like slide off and on like your tubes at the pool that you keep, and at least your pool's got clasps. These don't even have clasps. And there's isolation, I guess. I mean, the whole thing looks like a movie set. But, they go, they're exploring this planet, the people that used to live there, and they come across some crystals or something that doesn't matter. Some chick gets raped by an alien with a big tube. And that's the main point here. And she starts killing people. She's biting that guy. She's eating that corpse. And the corpse has a mask on that looks like Quiet Riot, Mental Health. And then the very next scene, she has no blood on her face right after she's done eating the corpse.
Like, oops, what happened there? Yeah, where'd it go?
Right. But I wonder, Chris might know this. They got to write the script around the budget on some of these movies. because a lot of these movies, they're like, I could see them saying we can't afford having this alien running around a ship. So let's have the actors just kill each other and we'll say they're possessed by the alien or something like that.
Right. Yeah. I think I actually rewatched In Seminoid the other day, which was probably my third or fourth time seeing it. And I mean, I kept holding my head and going, you gotta be fucking kidding me. It is in my opinion, and I like bad movies, it is the worst of the worst. I mean, it is just so.
I think Alien 2, is the worst of the worst. That's
I actually think Alien 2 is better than Seminoid. Well, I was going to say, to add to your list of tropes, Jamie, the one thing you didn't have on your list is most of these movies had more than one title. So they were released in theaters and then re-released in theaters again. Like In Seminoid was also released as Horror Planet.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And, I've been collecting posters for years, and I would always get mixed up with the 4 different Corman movies, even though there's really only 2.
Right.
Horror Planet, In Seminoid, Galaxy of Terror, Mind Warp, Mutant. I mean, they all get jumbled. But yeah, In Seminoid, to me, is a huge letdown because there's hardly any alien action, and it's got the biggest culprit is the fucking poster, because the poster that Jamie's got on the cover, it features a woman giving birth to an alien, and the alien shoots laser beams from its eyes and kills the astronauts. Such scene happens in this movie.
In fact, what the dumb scientist does once she gives birth to the twins is he goes, oh my God, he doesn't say alien twins killed them. He wraps them up in a blanket and carries them like little children, and then they end up killing them.
Well, I was going to say, I wasn't going to give it away, but I'd forgotten because hadn't seen it so many years. So yeah, the end of the movies, there's one of the girls is holding the like a baby, and I actually said out loud. The missus was sleeping on the couch. I go, I don't think that's such a good idea. And yeah, it cuts back to her 5 minutes later, and she's dead because the little baby aliens, which are not scary at all. They're these 2 big bug-eyed little.
And the only reason they're opening their mouths when the girl's holding them is because she's doing this, so they open their mouths back and forth. I mean, you see people moving when they're supposed to be dead. They drag a woman who's supposed to be dead, and as they pull her by a hair, her eyes go up like, be careful.
And let's not forget, the budget in this movie is so minuscule that the whole cast runs around, Pete, in jeans and sweaters. So it's like not outer space clothes at all. And I when I looked it up recently, I think I saw that the budget for Alien was like 11 or 12 million in 1979, and Seminoid had a budget of like 1.5 million in 1981. So we're talking, a tenth of the budget.
But even then, 1981, $1 million is, I guess, nothing to sneeze at, right?
Yeah. But I would have said it was less than that. I would have guessed.
When I rewatched the other day, I kept saying to myself, it's so bad. I can't believe this was released in theaters, and not once, but twice.
It did well in the UK. I mean, it made money.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but I guess that's the thing. With that little of a budget, your target is small.
And you know what's funny about that cover, the Blu-ray and then the poster, which is really cool. It's like back in the old days when you buy that comic book that had the most amazing cover.
Yes.
Like, oh, this is great.
Right.
Got this great action cover, and you go inside, and that fight's
terrible.
Never happens, right?
And look what came out last Black Friday, Record Store Day.
Wow. I mean, that's worth it just for the art alone.
Yes, and that's why I bought it. I mean, this is the soundtrack, and it's no John Williams.
If we would have got that scene in the movie, the movie would have been a hell of a lot better.
Yeah. Yes, and if I would tell if you knew nothing, and I said in Seminoid, this is a thrash metal band that opened up for Exodus back in '87 that nobody ever heard of, you'd go, oh, cool.
It's true. That's a great point. That'd be a great buy it. I'd buy a great metal album cover.
Right.
Totally.
You know what this sounds like without the movie? I don't know. You guys don't look like a couple of guys who watched Friends in the 90s, but there's an episode where Ross, other people are watching, they may know, where Ross gets a Casio keyboard and he thinks he's, this great musician and songwriter. That's what this sounds like.
I'll bet. Because, yeah, I mean, I only rewatched in Seminoid 2-3 days ago. I don't remember the score whatsoever.
A lot of these scores on these low-budget alien wannabe movies are the same. They sound like a bad arcade game.
And, one of the things we haven't touched on about these alien ripoffs. So in the original Alien film, you get that kind of cool little scantily clad Sigourney Weaver scene at the very, very end, right, in her pink underwear, right? And it's almost like all these films that came afterwards, like, well, we have to take that one step further because all these films have pretty hot women
nudity. Yes,
running around with nothing on, taking showers and, getting bopped and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Was Sigourney Weaver hot? I was watching Alien the other day going, God, was she hot? I think so.
I don't know.
Maybe she had her in Ghostbusters. She's kind of hot.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But yeah, it's a tough one.
I think in Alien, she's attractive. I haven't.
A little rough looking.
I'd take her over Lambert.
What's that?
I said I'd take Ripley over Lambert.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I'd take Ripley over Vasquez in the second one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I never thought Sigourney was hot, but she's somewhat attractive in the first film, but after that, I don't know. Anyway, all right, Chris.
Well, I was going to say, but before we go any further, we should mention that to those that don't know, Alien technically is itself a ripoff of this movie.
Yes.
The Terror from Beyond Space.
Yep.
I don't remember all the details, but there was some kind of lawsuit years later after Alien was released. But it was from what, like 1958, I think.
Or late 50s. Yep.
So we're talking almost 20 years before Alien, and it's a similar thing. A space crew is in space, and there's a distress signal, and they go and they check it out, and there's an alien there. Yep, Pete's got it right there, and the crew fights off a pretty decent looking alien.
1958, good memory.
So so Alien itself.
This is quite good, actually.
It's a very good movie, and I saw it years after seeing Alien, but. Holy shit, they're right. It totally ripped off Alien.
Yeah.
I mean, Alien totally ripped off it. And I forget, the legal logistics, but anyway, it's fun. Seminoid, I think, is a shitter. But I'm going my favorite. Am I supposed to go from the bottom, or we're not, or
whatever? It doesn't really
matter. All right. Well, my favorite of the Alien movies, the Alien knockoffs. This was from Roger Corman. And this one was from 1982, and it reused some sets of another Alien movie that I'm sure we'll talk about. But this one I actually like better, and it is 1982's Forbidden World. This is the original Blu-ray.
What is that? Steelbook?
And I was going to say, and here's the steel disc, and this is these are very different. I'll explain that in a second, but yeah. So the same story. Space crew is in outer space, and they're working on some kind of plant stuff because the planet is starving, and some bug thing grows out of it, and it has tentacles, and it's got the crazy head, and it starts eating the cast one by one. And they call in Jesse Vint, who's the space marshal, to kill it, and it is a fucking blast. There's tons of gore, tons of nudity, some great girl on girl action. The monster looks good. Yeah, it was done for cheap, but it reuses sets from Galaxy of Terror from the year before. It's a hoot, and it's my number one of all the Alien ripoffs. The interesting thing is on this disc, they talk about the original cut, which was called Mutant.
Yeah.
And there is posters of that. I don't know if it was released theatrically in theaters as Mutant, but there is a poster of it. Long story short, it's Mutant is on here, but it's from the only existing version when this Blu-ray came out was a 3/4 inch videotape. So they didn't even put it on the Blu-ray, they put it on the DVD. But the director laments because he felt that version was better. There was a lot more comedy, and it's just generally a better movie. So a couple years after I got this Blu-ray, I went to the Alamo Draft House in Yonkers for their Halloween Film Festival, and it was a mystery showing, and they put on the movie, second movie or third movie, and lo and behold, it was Mutant, the long lost cut of Forbidden World, but off 35 millimeter film. So thankfully, somebody figured this out, and they got the print, which now, thankfully, there is the last known 35 millimeter film print of that, and they did a 2K scan, and that's in this version. So yeah, if you're in the market to buy one, even if you see this one for cheap, definitely get this one, because this one has the 4K scan, although downgraded to the Blu-ray of Forbidden World, but it also has the Blu-ray of Mutant, which is
it's 2K, yeah, which still looks good.
2K scan, which is definitely the I think the better version. But man, this one has everything, and I think it's just a blast.
Did you say Mutant is the better version?
Yes.
Okay. See, I should have bought that one. I got this one, and the DVD the quality is.
Well, that's the thing, because it's off a videotape,
right?
For Mutant. So on here they scanned it off the actual last film print,
right?
And when I saw the film print, it looked gorgeous. I couldn't believe I was seeing it. That was a real rarity. But yeah, it's fun. It's fast moving. It's tight. Like I said, there's boobs, there's lesbians, explosions, blood. I mean, it's
features, the whole 9 yards.
It's fun.
And Jamie, I got that Steelbook not that long ago.
Yeah, you could still get this
months ago. Yeah, not that expensive.
Maybe you could pull a Pete and sell this one, and then get this one.
I put my Humanoids up for sale today and sold it within 2 hours.
No, the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Because I bought the Steelbook.
You got the Steelbook.
I bought the Steel. It's like $15.
Where do you put it up for sale? eBay?
On eBay?
I put it on eBay. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, it's awesome.
Yeah, I bought the Steelbook, and then I was like, all right, I don't need this one anymore. Yeah. So I put it up this morning, and just like that, it's gone. Just like that. So
cool.
All right, my first choice today. I was just telling Jamie before you hopped on, Chris, that I actually just got this one in my Vinegar Syndrome box today, and I wanted to make sure I watched it like right after dinner. I figured we had some time before we started taping, and I just got done like 5 minutes before we came on. And this is from 1985, Creature. Oh, so you got yours with the?
I got. Well, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, mine didn't. I didn't get the slipcover. I guess I didn't.
You didn't cover the slipcover.
Maybe I didn't pay for the extra $4 for it. I don't know. Sometimes you know what it is, because sometimes the slipcovers are exactly like this, and I'm always like, I don't need that. But that looks pretty cool because that's different.
The collector in you needs to keep that.
Yeah. Well, if it
listen, Jamie, this is just between me and you. Pete used to throw the slipcovers away.
He's just said that. I can't believe that.
I was like, Pete, what are you doing?
I get rid of the ones that are exactly the same as the art here.
Yeah, but people crack those.
It doesn't matter.
But people buy just the slipcover.
The way it came.
Crazy.
Even the hype sticker. I'll cut off the hype sticker and put it in there with.
Yeah, I do the same.
I don't.
Yes.
I could care less, but
this arm looks just like this arm, but I don't cut this one off.
Anyway, all right. I did not get it with the slipcover, but brand new, hot off the presses from Vinegar Syndrome. Anyway, 1985, also known as the Titan Find,
yeah.
And Titan Find, right? The Titan Find, directed by William Malone. And this one, it's got a pretty good cast. You got Klaus Kinski plays a small role as like a German astronaut space guy who's like a total like sex maniac. You got Diane Salinger, who's a pretty famous actress. She's been all over the place. Wendy Shaw, who used to be on It's a Living, if you remember that old sitcom from ABC back in the day. Anyway, this is like a total.
The dad from Ferris Bueller.
Yes, that's right. He's on here too. What was his name? Was that Stan Ivar or Robert Jaffe? I don't remember which one he was, but yeah. Cool film. Again, low budget film, but the guys who did the special effects on this film, I think later worked on Aliens just a short time afterwards. And I mean, this is like basically the script of Alien duplicated all over again with less budget. Basically, you got this German spaceship that crashes on this planet, sending a distress signal. So the American ship goes to find out what's going on. They go onto the ship. They find all these people that are dead, right? They encounter this creature. And then Klaus Kinski shows up. He's apparently one of the survivors. But then as we find out in the movie, this creature, which also looks kind of like the xenomorph from Alien, because it's got the big long neck. It's a little bit different. You kind of see what it looks like.
It almost reminded me like the Loch Ness Monster head.
Because it's like kind of like up and down, like a plesiosaur with the teeth at the end, but it's got like arms. You can tell it's a guy in a suit, a rubber suit, right, with the big claws, and he lumbers around. You don't see him a lot in the first half of the film, but basically the story is he like lets out these like little creatures that actually wind up going into the humans and like drilling into their brains, and they actually take over the mind of the humans. So then the humans all of a sudden now are under the control of this creature. So it actually turns out, Klaus Kind, I don't want to give too much away here, but one by one, the creature starts killing off most of the crew. But actually, kind of like in Aliens, he goes and brings them all into this room and hangs them upside down. He's taking control of them as well, but then he's using them to go and trick the rest of the cast members to kind of like, bring them to the creature so he can do what he wants to with them. There's a lot of blood in the film. It's pretty low budget, but there's some good kills. Little bit of nudity, which is pretty cool, and I think the spaceships and like the outside scenes look really good in this film.
Oh yeah,
it's really well shot. The cheapest thing really is the creature itself. I think everything else looks pretty good, and the acting is fine for the most part. And the end is very similar to Aliens as well. Instead of like the alien coming out of the wall like on the little pod, here you get the alien coming out of the floor in the end. So a lot of similar things, but I like it. It's enjoyable. I think it's a lot of fun.
And I was gonna say, Creature reused some of the sets from Forbidden World, which reused some of the sets from Galaxy of Terror. But when I was doing Hudson Horror, I borrowed a pretty rare 35 millimeter print of Creature and ran it at my show, and I sat and watched it with the audience, and I was kind of tired. I might have had a couple drinks in me, but I got to be honest, when I saw it in the theater, I thought it was kind of boring. But when I rewatched it the other day, I was like, wow, this is really pretty good.
Yeah,
it's a ton of good action. Man, 2 of the kills were awesome. I don't want to give them away, but so a lot more fun than I remembered.
Yeah, it's definitely good. And I will say, for anybody watching who is interested in getting this, the new Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray looks really good. I was amazed at how good this looks.
And also known as the Title Find.
Yeah.
Yep. Pete said the Title Find.
Yeah. Yep.
I gave it 1.5 stars, Pete.
Oh, you did? Yeah. How long ago did you watch it?
Gave it that extra star, though. What's that?
How long ago did you watch it?
I watched it. I actually bought this when we got this idea, and I said, I need to watch this one. I'll just get this for like $5. It's a DVD, and I watched it about a week and a half ago or so.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, this is newly restored in 4K.
Yes.
From the original camera negative.
And I mean, I didn't go through it all, but both versions are on here, right?
They are. Yeah.
Which is really cool. I have to watch Titan Find. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, so I just watched the theatrical cut, so I'm gonna go watch the other one. Yeah, but
I liked it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I agree. Good stuff.
It's hard to give these movies stars in my movie diary, because do I give it stars based on how good it really is or how much I kind of enjoyed watching it? It's like a tug of war,
Yeah, I mean, Chris, how many times have you said it's like this movie is fucking terrible, but I love it last, right? So yeah,
I mean, listen, because if I was judging, Galaxy of Terror or Forbidden World on are they good movies? No, they're really not good movies. But I love them because they're entertaining. And to me, that's all that counts.
Yeah.
Right.
You could say this album is the best recorded, best sounding album of all time. But if the songs bore me, then it has no entertainment value. Then fuck it, I don't want to listen to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how that's my opinion.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Jamie, back to you.
All right. Well, this one you guys might give me some shit for. I don't know. This is kind of like, what if you took the idea of Alien and aspects of Alien and you took away the gore, you took away the horror, you made the aliens friendly and you added a love story, what would you get? I think Gallo's thinking you get one shitty ass movie I don't want to see, but you get The Abyss.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot. I mean, they're a research team. Check. Not a doctor, but an engineer. Close enough. You want to talk about isolation? I don't think isolation is easier than this movie because they are down in the deep waters. And they come across an alien, you know, they're looking for a submarine that sank, but they come across an alien and you're thinking, okay, this is going to go crazy places, horror. But then there's no alien for a while in the middle. And it's like, you know, humans are confronting each other. And there's a Navy SEAL who's going crazy and they got to take care of him. But all during those confrontations with people, that feeling of alien is still in the movie. You know, you got the lights on the helmets and isolation and, you know, it's a creepy factor to it. And the ending, when the aliens get friendly, it's kind of like Steven Spielbergish almost.
Yeah.
But I decided to count it in my list. Yeah, so it's got some intense scenes. I mean, the CPR scene in this is really intense. So I mean, it's
really well made.
Long. Really, you know what's crazy? It's not on Blu-ray.
Really?
All right, so here's the deal. I have heard that
Cameron won't put it on Blu-ray.
I've heard he's working or he wants to work on a 4K version of it, and that's the reason why. But because he's been so tied up in freaking
Avatar 6, 7, 8,
whatever, that he's just like it's gonna have to wait. Yeah, it's amazing because that movie needs to come out on like 4K.
I was thinking that because I mean it was a big deal when this movie came out, the special effects. Because I never seen CGI like that before this movie. And I was thinking he won't put it on 4K or even Blu-ray because he's afraid that you'll see the faults in the CGI, you know, the more clear it is. I don't know. That was just it. So.
And it needs to be said, we didn't talk about it, but there is a connection here. So James Cameron, who directed that film, also directed Aliens, and
right
also is the assistant director or assistant technical director to the directors of both Galaxy of Terror and Forbidden World. Or Forbidden World, he had something to do with it early.
Well, he was I thought he was the set designer for
maybe.
Galaxy of Terror. That's why I love when they run down the hallways in Galaxy of Terror, and they have all the styrofoam Big Macs glued to the wall, but it does give that alien spaceship look to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, The Abyss was that was a big movie. Although, see, there you go. To me, Jamie, that's perfect. The Abyss, well done movie. It looks good. It sounds good. But to me, it's fucking boring. I don't want friendly aliens. I want so.
What did I say? You're gonna say it's a shitty movie?
No. I'm just saying for me. I've never owned a copy of it. You know, I've seen it once or twice, and you know, it has its fans. People love it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll take Mutant or Galaxy of Terror over The Abyss
any day.
Any day of the week.
And I just want to say, remember when I'd come on this show and I hold up my little handmade posters? Because of you assholes, I'm buying everything now. Now I got copies of limited release in the steelbook and the 4K.
That is interesting that there is no Blu-ray or
not even a Blu-ray.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, Jamie, in response to all that, the curse is real, dude.
Oh, I know.
So,
I'm definitely. I got to talk to David, our merch guy. It's like we got to get the curse is real shirt. It's got to happen. Yeah, it's got to happen. But yeah, it's all right, Chris. I'm assuming you're going to talk about it because mine is
Galaxy of Terror. This is probably my second favorite. Again, this is from Roger Corman. This came out in 1981, so the year before they did Forbidden Planet, they did Galaxy of Terror. James Cameron was, I believe, the set designer, and he probably helped shoot some stuff on here too. This one has an unbelievable cast. Eddie Albert, Erin Moran, Ray Walston, Robert Englund, Sid Haig. Yes, that's perfect. It was also released under the title Mind Warp. I know I've seen it off film at least once, and it did have the on-screen title, I believe, of Mind Warp. And it's same plot, like Jamie's already said. And spaceship crew lands on a planet. There's an alien there who attacks the crew, but this one is a little different because this alien attacks you by making you like live out your worst fears. And thankfully for us, the audience, there's a pretty Playboy playmate whose worst fear is getting raped by a giant space maggot. And according to the director, she has an orgasm so hard that she explodes. Not my words. That's from the director. Needs to be seen to be believed.
Yeah.
Galaxy of Terror.
And Joni's eyes needs to be seen to be believed.
Oh yeah,
her eyes come out of her skull.
Yeah, she was cracked out, I think, at the time. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So, nudity, carnage, monsters. This one, like I said, out of all of them, an unbelievable cast.
Yeah.
This one looks pretty good. I always say too, like certain movies you can get away with a low budget. You could make a slasher movie for cheap. You can make a teen sex movie for cheap or a comedy. But man, when it comes to an alien kind of ripoff movie or a post-apocalyptic Mad Max movie, you need some money. And, these couple movies that we, Galaxy Terror, Forbidden World, man, they really stretch that buck, but they make it passable. Whereas in Seminoid, you're like, Jesus Christ, this is like the dollar store version of the Alien.
I can't believe one of my picks is too trashy for him to like.
Oh yeah.
I mean, too awful for him to like.
Oh, when I saw that test tube penis come out the other night, I'm like, what? I was like, this is worse than I remember.
They didn't want to have alien dick. So they're like, what are we going to do here? We'll just give him a test tube.
Yeah.
There. That scene reminds me a very cheap scene of the tree scene in Evil Dead and the double fucking scene in Rosemary's Baby, combined in a very cheap sci-fi kind of way.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And poor Erin Moran, man, her that scene is spectacular in that, right?
So good. Sid Haig rips his own arm off and then throws some kind of giant Chinese throwing star at himself. I mean, nuts.
And there's a really good documentary on the Blu-ray, and they talk to the blonde actress about her scene where she gets raped by the giant, and she talks about how it was freezing on the set that day, and they're throwing all this like really cold gelatinous crap all over her, and she's like, it was the coldest I've ever been in my entire life.
Wow. Well, and that's a great point, Pete. I don't know if Jamie mentioned that in the beginning, right? But slime.
Yeah.
Right. All these alien movies, they always have some kind of goopy slime, which I really don't remember in general seeing like slime in other monster movies before.
True.
Yeah.
Only aliens can have slime.
Right.
Godzilla doesn't have slime. King Kong doesn't have slime. No slime.
I mean, maybe there's something we're forgetting, but like I noticed in Seminoid and a couple of these, like, they're always finding goop all over the floor.
Yeah. And it probably makes the alien faces look less fake, so it doesn't look like a big plastic mask. Put some goo on there. Oh, now it's frightening.
Gives a little sheen.
Yeah.
A little drool, yeah. All right, I'm going to go up to 1992. This movie is truly terrible. And it's from a series, a franchise, and it's, for me, easily the worst, but it fits because they decide to kind of totally change the premise of this series or franchise and just mimic the whole alien scenario. Critters 4.
Oof.
Wow.
Yeah. Critters 4, they're invading your space. That gives it all away right there. So basically you take some of the characters from the series and you put them in the future. They're all of a sudden, they're on this spaceship heading to God knows where. And of course, that's where the critters turn up. And then one by one, they start, going after people on the ship. But the problem with this film is that, it's titled Critters 4, right? The critters are hardly in the fucking movie. And instead, you get an hour and a half of all this drama that nobody cares about these stupid people on the ship. And it's like, can we please go back to Earth where the critters can rampage a family or a town in, middle of the country, USA, and make it somewhat interesting? This to me is a complete fail and utter garbage. And I have a soft spot for the earlier Critters films. They're not great by any means, but they're kind of fun. This isn't fun. I mean, Chris talks about boring movies. This is truly boring. Probably could have been good. I mean, I think I could have written a better script than this. It's like, forget trying to rip off Alien and do something different. This is not good at all. I don't know if you guys have even seen this, but it's not good.
No, I was going to say, I know I saw Critters 1 and 2, and people always say I think Critters 2 is the better one.
They're both really good. I love both the first two. Yeah.
I don't remember much of either, and I think that was where I ended.
I have never seen Ghoulies or Critters.
I love Ghoulies.
Ghoulies I've seen.
I love Ghoulies.
But I've never seen Goonies, which people are talking about today because now there's a Goonies TV show, I think, in the works.
Oh, Goonies is fun. Goonies is fun.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most overrated movies ever, but whatever.
It's fun. That's fun. You ever see The Gate?
Yes.
Yeah, The Gate's fun.
Gate's great. Yeah.
And great poster with the coming out of the words.
And yeah, great heavy metal connection.
Yes, indeed. All right, back to you guys.
Is it to me?
Jamie. Yeah.
I'm going to 1997, and not for the last time. And in the 90s, there's a lot of alien wannabe movies that came out. You had what was there? Mimic, which is my pick. And there's Relic and Sphere and Species and Deep Rising. But I think this is one of the better ones. And look, creepy egg right there on the cover.
Yep.
I actually have this coming in the mail. It's held up in a snowstorm. Supposed to be here Christmas Eve day. So I just made this one. This is actually Sherlock Holmes movie, and I just printed this out.
That's funny.
So I have something to hold up. But I like Mimic. And you know what? I did not know when I rewatched it last week. It's an early Guillermo del Toro movie. I was like, shit. I didn't know who he was when I went to go see this in the theater in the 90s, but I'm a big fan of his. I love his monsters. And these, look, it's not aliens, but it's big bugs. And what are aliens but big bugs? I mean, and you got the isolation. They're under the city of New York, and there's bugs, and there's slime, and they got to cover themselves with slime to, so the bugs don't smell them. But and the way the bugs mimic beings, plate that comes over their bug face and kind of connects and kind of resembles a face. I think the special effects hold up. I mean, they almost look like the special effects came out yesterday. No one ever talks about Mimic, and what I got coming, I've never seen Mimic 2 or 3. So that'll be coming in and I'll sit through them. I don't know how horrible they are.
I didn't even know they made sequels.
I didn't even know they had sequels.
Exactly. They're probably going to suck. But I mean, and then you got Mira Sorvino. She won an Oscar the year before on the Woody Allen movie. And then the very next movie she does is a big bug movie. Yeah. And she's a scientist. So there's your scientist. So yeah, Mimic.
Is this
I was going to say, Peter,
is this the version you bought? Probably, right?
Is that, I got 1, 2, and 3 on 2 discs.
Oh, you got a collection. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And it was only $7.
Yeah, I bought this used. It was like next to nothing.
So you like the movie?
I like Mimic. I like the first one a lot. Del Toro is a really, really talented dude. I think he makes good films.
Yes.
Yeah. I like that.
Now, I'm not a big fan. They have to kill the male bug, the only male bug at the end. I'm not a big fan of how they kill it, but whatever. I mean, the ending is basically a Dire Straits song. Sometimes you're the windshield, you're the bug. So,
yep.
I was thinking of Money for Nothing, so I'm like, Money for Nothing and your chicks for free.
Can you name another Dire Straits song?
Sultans of Swing.
There you go.
There you go. Cool.
That's it. That's where I am.
Romeo and Juliet. That's another one.
Walk of Life.
Walk of Life.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. But I was gonna say, Pete talked about Mimic recently on another show because I'd only seen it in the theater and I never saw it since. But yeah, hearing both of you guys, I'm like, all right, I need to see it again because
it holds up really well. I think. Yeah, it's a good one. It's just a good monster flick. I mean, it's what it comes down to, and the acting is good in it. It's well produced.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And what's his name is good in it. Charles S. Dutton.
Yeah.
Oh, right, Rock.
Yeah, Rock.
Yep. Cool. Good pick. All right, Chris, back to you.
All right. My pick goes back to the land of ripoffs, which of course has to be Italy. And this one is really, I hate to keep repeating myself, but man, this one is so much fun. Contamination, aka Alien Contamination. And it's a bunch of eggs that wind up in they're getting smuggled into New York City through like the coffee ships, if I remember right. And how the eggs work is they explode, and what do you get showered with but slime? And then the alien explodes out of your face. Is it out of your face or no, out of your chest? It does come out of your chest.
Explode. I don't know if the alien comes out, but you explode.
But yeah, you're right. You just explode. You can see the gas like kind of coming out of you. Yeah, you're right. I'm mixing this up with Alien 2, which we'll get to.
Similar, all these movies.
Right. Again, another Italian ripoff. But yeah, this one, right, and you just explode, and you could actually see like the gas coming out of like the dummies' chests. And my favorite one is there's a guy in like a hazmat suit and a mask, and it's like in the middle of his chest is like a round piece of hazmat, because that was the part that was going to explode. And they must have had to do multiple takes. So they just had the one, rather than normally you'd wear one whole suit. There's just a round piece like a placemat that keeps blowing out. But it stars Ian McCulloch from Zombie and Dr. Butcher. It was directed by Luigi Cozzi, who did one of our favorites, Pete, Star Crash. And, years later or a couple years before this did Godzilla, his version of Godzilla. And it's just a complete knockoff of Alien, except at the end, there's this giant alien who's almost kind of like Lovecraftian looking. He really does look like an alien. He's got a big cyclops thing, and but it's really gory, and it's just nuts. It's just Italian insanity. And I enjoy it. I did order the Blu-ray on this because I needed to upgrade it because I need to see the gore in HD.
And Goblin did the soundtrack.
Yes, good point. Goblin did the soundtrack. They had the cast at Chiller Theater a couple of years ago, so I had them sign the poster from the movie, like an actual poster, which of course I have no room for putting up anywhere, so it'll just stay in a tube forever.
Bring it over here. I have room.
I was just gonna say I could see you're in the same boat, Jamie, possibly worse. So, but yeah, Contamination.
I've never seen that. I need to see that.
Oh, well, you'll have to see it. Yeah. You would enjoy it.
It's available on Blu-ray?
Yeah. It's fairly new, if I'm not mistaken, on Blu-ray.
Jeez, man.
I got it on one of the Christmas sales. I can't remember if it's Kino Lorber or Arrow or whoever I placed. It wasn't Vinegar Syndrome. I know that.
Okay. All right. I will be looking for it as soon as we get off this call. All right. 2000. Pitch Black. So this is a little different, only because here you've got like basically a spaceship filled with some prisoners that have to make a pit stop on a desert planet where it's completely pitch black dark. So they make this emergency landing on this planet. And of course, you've got basically what happens is the planet is overrun with these creatures that only live come out at night, but it's night all the time there. So they're out exploring what's going on in the planet. The prisoners, of course, with Vin Diesel as one of them, actually winds up having to kind of team up with the people that have them captured, right, in order to fend themselves off from the creatures. So the entire film is basically shot in the dark. They're all wearing the glasses and shit, trying and watching the creatures come after them and everything like that. Pretty cool film. This is the first in the Riddick series. Chronicles of Riddick would come after. I still think the first is the best one, but they're all pretty good. And it's a fun film. It's a fun film. But again, the whole, going to another planet, there's aliens there. Oh shit. And instead here you've got a desert planet and everything's in the dark. So it's kind of different, kind of a little twist on the whole thing. But I dig it. It's good.
Pretty I couldn't remember if I saw it or not. I looked it up and gave it 3 stars in my book. So
time for a rewatch
again.
I was gonna say that's one I remember seeing it in the theater, and I remember kind of liking it, but I kind of don't remember much about it.
Yeah,
and I don't think I saw it since.
There's 2 sequels at least.
Yeah, it's got 2. Yep.
Interesting.
Like I said, the second and third films don't really follow anything that happened in the first, but it's more of like the first introduced the character, and then you get to see his journey, after that.
Yeah, isn't it Chronicles of Riddick? It becomes like a different name.
Yeah, Chronicles of Riddick is the second. I believe the third one is just called Riddick, right? If I'm not mistaken. Okay. Yeah, Chronicles of Riddick, and yeah, I think Riddick is the last one. So anyway, back to Jamie.
All right, I'm going all the way up to 2017. And I remember around that time thinking, you know what this world needs? A really good, solid alien ripoff movie. That's good. And then I saw the previews for Life.
I still haven't seen the
movie I've been waiting for. And it's got like A-list people in this. It's got Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Reynolds. I don't know if Ryan Reynolds was A-list. He was still recovering from Green Lantern at the time, trying to get his feet underneath him. But yeah, I mean, I rewatched this, and this is what caused this episode. I bought this at Big Lots for $5. Came home, I watched it. I'm like, damn, this is good. Why is this forgotten? And why don't people talk about it? And I text you and I said, we should do an alien ripoff. You're like, yeah, we'll do that. And
here we are.
And I said, Jesus, there's a lot. But yeah, this was my number 2. There are intense moments on this. I mean, guy gets fucked up in the beginning when the thing is little, right out of the book of Alien. And when this little alien grasped onto his hand, that's in like these gloves type of thing, you feel that grasp, man. It goes and breaks his hand, and he has to bring out his hand. The poor guy can't walk as it is. He's in a wheelchair, and now he lost his hand. But there's like things going down people's throats, alien things going down their throats, and then some woman's drowning on toxic liquid in her helmet. I mean, why people don't talk about this movie and they kind of just put it under the rug, I don't know. And the ending, man, it's like the ending out of The Mist. It's like you go, no way. That's how they're going to end this. I'm not going to give it away, but
yeah, I never saw that. I got to see.
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I need to watch the whole thing. Yeah.
I mean, we've all seen most of this before, but it's like going back to your old neighborhood. It's your old stomping grounds. You're happy to be there, but a few things changed. It's meat and potatoes movie where you're like, yeah, that was good. You feel full when it's done.
Cool. Yeah, I gotta watch it. All right, Chris.
Nice. All right. Well, of course, there was all these alien ripoffs because there was the whole genre started because there was no Alien sequel. Eventually, we did get an Alien sequel called Aliens, and this one I'm kind of pulling a Catino because it's not really a ripoff of Alien, but this thing is a shot-for-shot ripoff of Aliens, of course, from Italy, from Claudio Fragasso, who wrote and directed Troll 2, and Bruno Mattei, who's probably the worst Italian filmmaker of all time. And it's Italy's Shocking Dark, a.k.a. Alienators, a.k.a. Terminator 2. And it is must be seen to be believed. I mean, we are talking scene for scene remake of Aliens. It's got instead of it's got the tough female fronted character instead of Ripley. She's called Sarah in this. And instead of the Space Marines, she goes in with the Megaforce, and they're going on a bug hunt. And instead of the tough Spanish girl, which was Vasquez in Aliens, it's actually Goretta, which was the black hooker in Demons. And they go in and they fight the aliens. People are cocooned up in webs, and they tell the Marines that, oh, kill me. And they find a little girl survivor, although in Aliens she was like 8, and in this movie the lone girl survivor looks like she's about 17. You know, there's the motion detector scene with the aliens. There's this shot for shot scene where Ripley and Newt are in sick bay and they're waving at the camera, and the male lead who's sent in by the corporation turns the camera off. I mean, it's identical until we get to the ending and you find out that, you know, one of the guys is a robot, you know, but in Aliens, he's a friendly robot. In this, he's actually a Terminator, and there's a whole time travel thing. It'll give you a headache, but it is unbelievable. Needs to be seen to be believed. I got a copy of this movie in the early 90s on VHS, and it was one of those ones where I would put this on to show friends because I was, you know, there was no YouTube back then. I had a bootleg VHS copy, and it was one of these things where it was like, you got to see this. Like, you have to see this to believe it. And it looks even better on Blu-ray with a bunch of cool extras. And if you're a fan of Aliens, you will love Shocking Dark.
I got to tell you, it's, for those who don't know, I have a movie diary. I've been keeping track of every movie I've ever seen since I was a wee lad. And I still add movies to it to this day. I saw that recently. And I haven't put a movie in my diary where I put no stars in years. Wow. It's been years. And for the first time in years, I went no stars. 0.
That's funny. But now, from my point of view, I've never purchased Abyss, but I bought 3 copies of Shocking Dark.
Oh, I got to see this. I got to see it.
Oh, yeah. You got to see it.
I saw it. I don't know where I saw it advertised recently, and I almost added it.
Severin had a big sale.
That's where. I saw it. And I was like, I wound up not getting it, but I was like,
I like the movie poster or the DVD cover, Blu-ray cover.
Yeah, it's you know, the aliens look. You know, I mean, they look pretty good. Yeah. I mean, again, this is super low budget. They didn't even try with the script. It was like they just sat in front of the TV and just rewrote Aliens, but for like a $6 budget. But I you know, being a huge fan, I enjoy it.
It's funny that my least favorites of these, one is called Terminator 2, the other is called Alien 2.
That's funny.
All right. How about some Full Moon Productions stuff, right? Or they decide to get into the fray here with 1987's Crepazoids.
That's funny because this is one of the ones I found in my collection that I meant to rewatch.
We were talking about that like a month ago, and you're like, I don't know if I ever bought that. I'm like, yeah. This is a lot of fun. It's if you follow any of the 80s and early 90s Full Moon stuff, you know, the special effects and the kind of feel of the movie, it's very similar. And this one, basically, you've got I guess World War III has happened, right? And the whole, you know, country is like basically like a war zone type of thing, and you got, you know, pockets of survivors. So you get this group of like scientists who are holed up together somewhere, and they stumble upon this like laboratory where all this stuff has been going on, and they discover, you know, there's this creature, right? And again, from there it takes a very similar turn. The creature starts, you know, annihilating them one by one. You got the crazy, you know, little monster baby who's right there, which kind of looks like baby Oopsie Daisy, right? If you're familiar with the
from Full Moon,
demon dolls or the demonic toys, what have you. I like this film. I think there's plenty of gore. There's plenty of nudity. There's Linnea Quigley's in the film right there. That gives it, you know, a couple thumbs up, and she plays a pretty prominent role. I like the creature effects. It's all practical stuff here. Fun film. I had never seen this, and I bought it on a whim, and I liked it a lot. And I watched this fairly recently.
That one.
You saw it, Jamie?
No, I've never seen it.
Yeah, I would pick it up. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Cool.
It's cool. All right. That's all I got today.
All right. My last one is my favorite. And I'm going to take some liberties with this one too. And it's more of a kind of like a ripoff of Galaxy of Terror when you think about it. Also from 1997, Event Horizon.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I tell you what, there's only a handful of movies I've seen in my life that scared me when I saw them. When I went to the theater to see this, it's scared. It's creepy, man. You know what? There's scenes in this that remind me of that nurse scene in Exorcist 3, where she walks by with the shears. There's things like that walking by, you know, like a little kid running. It gives you creeps. But yeah, the alien in this, I don't want to give it away, because if you haven't seen it, guys, people out there, you really should see this. I can't believe it's 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. When this came out, there was no Rotten Tomatoes, right? You maybe read one review in your local paper, and you're either going to disagree or agree with one guy. So we all went to see it, and we all loved it, and we were at work talking about it, and everyone. So I always thought it was bona fide classic. I see 29%, and like audience, that'll be high, 63%. I don't know. So the alien is kind of
who's rating it, like people of today, you know, because I mean that the film.
Yeah, a lot. They get a lot of those critics from back in the day, you know. And it's funny. You used to be able to reply to the critics like, you don't know what you're talking about, but they took that away on Rotten Tomatoes. And you'd see people like they would Wizard of Oz. There'd be one guy who said it sucked, and people would be, you don't know what you're talking about. It was written in 1939. The guy is dead. People were yelling at him. Idiots. Anyway,
a little late for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, this is scary. And it's the heart of the ship. Have you guys seen this?
I haven't seen it since it first came out.
I was going to say, I saw it twice. Every time I see it, I always just think of the story, because this Event Horizon is kind of legendary because it had to get cut to get the R rating. And the legendary story is everybody's always like, oh man, the uncut version was so much better, but I don't think any of that footage exists. I don't know whatever happened to it, but I don't think it's out there. So there's no way to do an uncut version, unfortunately.
I wonder what was in it that was so violent or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But I think Sam Neill's pretty creepy in it. And Lawrence Fishburne's really good in it. The spinning sphere in the middle of the ship with the lights that like it's like a doorway to another world. When those lights line up, it's creepy. You feel like the ship is alive. Yeah, Event Horizon. Let me see. I made a couple notes here. Let me just make sure I didn't forget anything I'd be kicking myself after. Oh, I forgot to mention. Nah. Event Horizon. Go watch it.
Yeah, I got to get that.
Yeah, this is what I don't understand. You guys mentioned it before. It's a Blu-ray, but it's a 4K scan. What?
Right.
What does that mean?
So basically, they get the 4K negative, and so it's better than getting it from a HD source, because 4K is higher resolution. But then they put it on a Blu-ray. So I always explain it to people in like music terms. So you could buy a compact disc, or you can get a compact disc, but then you copy it onto a cassette tape. So it's because it's not 4K. It's mastered from 4K, but it's still a Blu-ray, which is only high definition.
Or it's like playing a 4K on your TV and taking a picture of it with your phone, and then it's not really 4K on your phone, but it's a picture of the 4K.
Yeah. I guess along those lines. Okay. So it does look better than if they took it from an HD source.
Okay.
But it's not, unfortunately. And the reality is, I think all these companies have been doing this because they are now that they have a 4K, once they have a 4K master of it, then they can do a 4K disc of it like they did with Alien and make you buy it again. Not make you buy it, but entice you to buy it again, because it's not really 4K. What you've got is still a Blu-ray. if you want the best quality, you got to buy the 4K disc. Which I think I have the Alien one on me.
It's almost, Jamie, it's almost like now you almost have two levels of Blu-ray, because you have the regular Blu-ray and then the 4K scan, which in most cases does look a little bit better, but it's not quite the actual 4K.
That's it exactly, because this, right, was from an HD master, and this same movie they took from a 4K master. They're both on Blu-rays, but this one does look better because it's mastered from a higher resolution version. But they're still both only Blu-rays. The next step would be for them to put out this version on a 4K disc to get you to buy it again. Yeah, like, I don't know how many times I've purchased Alien. I haven't even opened this one. This is the Alien 4K Steelbook. I've already heard rumors that there's another 4K. Right. I heard there's another one coming out of Alien, and we still don't have Aliens on 4K.
I mean, I found I got it all the way up top, but I found a Alien Blu-ray set with all the films, and it looks great. And in one nice little thin case.
Perfect example, Pete. What they did with that, the Alien box set, the Blu-ray, they mastered Alien and Aliens from 4K masters on Blu-ray, but then Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, is that what it's called, the fourth one? Insurrection? What the fuck is the fourth one? Resurrection. Those were just from HD masters.
Right.
And they did the same thing with the new Friday the 13th box set, which is a Blu-ray box set, but I think it's the first 5 movies. They went back and did a 4K scan of the original negative and did the Blu-rays on that. But the rest of the series, they just went with the old HD masters that they had.
Yeah. And I think in my set, Prometheus and Covenant are both in 4K in my set, I believe.
Gotcha.
I have to look yet. But
right. Yeah. Well, that makes sense because those are newer movies. Yeah.
Great. I know they just keep re-releasing this.
Oh, that's it.
Just keep buying.
I hear if they come out with
streaming is going to kill this all off eventually. The Vinegar Syndromes and the Severins, they'll still be around, but the big studios, I think they're going to stop all this physical stuff.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's a shame. Well, I look at it this way: if they do that tomorrow,
yeah,
I've got all this.
His collection's going nowhere.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. All right, Chris, you got anything else?
Yeah, I got a couple more. Okay. Jamie and Alien 2, which I remember reading about as a kid. I loved my uncle got me hooked on Famous Monsters. And in the back of Famous Monsters, it would always tell you about the upcoming movies. It always talked about Alien 2, and then in Famous Monsters there was a big article on Alien 2, but they didn't mention Ripley or Jonesy the cat or anything, and that's because it was an Italian ripoff. It took me years to see it, and yeah, it's terrible, but it's still better than in Seminoid. And there's in Seminoid's pretty bad. There's a space shuttle, and I heard recently there's a story that the Italians worked so fast to get this movie done, and the reason they got it in theaters and could use the name Alien 2 was because they worked on it so fast, Fox didn't even get a chance to copyright the title Alien 2. And that's how they got it done.
I was watching it recently and getting angry that they stole that title for that piece of shit movie. I was getting angry at these people.
That's funny. That is funny. But yeah.
And the bowling alley scene at the end and the pulsating whatever on the camera. And
yeah, they're like these rock kind of eggs, and
I'm watching
those explode on you.
Lined up in the bowling alley for what feels like 10 minutes. Yeah. With nothing going on.
There is some boring parts, that's for sure. But at least it kind of changes scenery. Like in Seminoid, you're like stuck in that fucking cave forever. It's like, oh sweet Jesus, will this pregnant bitch just kill everybody already and put me out of my misery?
There's a scene in Alien 2 where the camera pans from someone who's lying down from their feet to their head. I swear to God, it takes 10 minutes to get to his head. At the end, his eyeball finally explodes, but it takes 10 minutes. Okay, we're at his knee. All right, you can go use the bathroom, come back, and you'll be at his belly button. Oh,
it's not the greatest film, that's for sure. It's pretty bad. It kind of reminds me of the Descent a little bit with when they are doing the cage stuff.
Yeah.
And this one, when the chest burster comes out, it comes out through your face.
Yes.
And it blows your eyeballs out. And they're in the cave, and then when they get out, they're running around, and you find out the aliens took over the planet. But it's terrible. Listen, probably at the bottom of the barrel is Alien 2 and Seminoid, but I'm putting Alien 2 just above Seminoid.
Okay, fair enough.
But they're both pretty bad. They're both a lot of these other ones are a lot better.
And Seminoid has British people that gives it some class when they talk.
True, that's true. Stephanie Beacham's a real actress, and when I watched it again the other day, I'm like, Jesus, she must have needed some coke money or something. Like, well, she's a real actress. What the hell is she doing in this?
Yeah. But, which one of these movies has Mr. Hand in it? From Fast
Galaxy of Terror.
Yeah. Yes, I get them all mixed up. Right. And which one has the lieutenant from Naked Gun? The bigger guy. And he was in Coogan's Bluff or some shit like that. Not Coogan's Bluff, but...
all I could think of from Naked Gun is O.J. Simpson and Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen's boss. The bigger guy.
George Kennedy?
Yes, he's in one of these, and I forget which one.
Oh, that's like, is that The Terror Within?
Yes, The Terror Within. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I just pictured him, George Kennedy, going, what am I wearing here? What am I doing? Where's my paycheck?
So the other one I wanted, I got a couple more. The other one, real quick, I'm pretty sure we've talked about it in other episodes. Tobe Hooper's Life Force. He basically ripped off the beginning, the first, third of Life Force. He ripped off Alien, and then the next 2/3 he ripped off Quatermass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the whole they wind up meet the other spaceship in outer space, and there's the people in hypersleep, and the whole crew winds up dying, and of course they get back to Earth, and it's a hot naked broad. That's a whole nother, and then it turns into Quatermass with a hot naked broad. There's another one,
a vampire twist to this too. It's almost like Planet of the Vampires, right? It's like
Yes. Well, in fact, I think the original title was Space Vampires.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, "Oh, that's a terrible title. Let's call it Life Force," which sounds, I don't know, it sounds like an old folks thing to me. I don't know. Like Life, like Jamie totally sold me on Life, but that title sucks.
It does. Yeah. They could have made a sequel, but nobody wanted Life 2.
Right. Yeah. But I still got to see that one. All right. My buddy Sean and I watched one recently that was so terrible. We joked that it broke my projector. It's from 1986, and it's called Star Crystal. Again, it's another Corman production. Pete, somebody had it on sale recently. Do not buy this movie. Basically, there's a spaceship in outer space, and pretty sure there's a distress signal, and the alien gets on board, and it's got tentacles, and it starts killing the crew members one by one, and they're trying to figure out how to get in the shuttlecraft to escape. But then the crazy thing happens is the alien, who looks like E.T., but if you dumped a bottle of barbecue sauce over his head. He's a little guy, right? And he taps into the ship's computer when there's 2 people left alive. And he's like, oh my God. He's like, you guys are nice people. And this is all just a misunderstanding. He's like, I shouldn't have killed you guys. I feel terrible. And so now they befriend this alien for the last 20 minutes of the movie. And playing checkers and chess and hanging out with him. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This is ridiculous. If the 3 of us go into outer space and E.T. kills you guys, when he goes to sleep, I'm going to smash his head in with a fire extinguisher. I'm not going to
appreciate that.
Totally. I'm not going to be friendly with this fucking thing. It's so ridiculous. The worst movie, boring as shit. So yeah, steer clear of Star Crystal. They make a big deal about this song, like this pop song called "Crystal of a Star," and like when the credits roll, that's the very first credit is this broad who sings this fucking pop song. Terrible. Steer clear of Star Crystal. Yeah. And the last one I'm going to mention, again, my buddy Sean is a trailer collector. He would buy all the rare trailers and bring them to Hudson Horror. So he found one for this movie I'd never heard of before from 1987, and we ran it to a sold out audience, and the audience went crazy for it. It's a Canadian horror movie from the director of Spasms and Death Weekend, and it's called The Blue Monkey. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. I don't know if it ever came out on DVD. It came out like a year or two ago on Blu-ray through like Code Red, but there was this weird crowdfunding thing, and it was really expensive. And I don't know what the people were like getting ripped off or something. I forget the whole story, but now it just got re-released on Blu-ray for like $20 on Amazon. Long story short, there's a hospital that's doing some kind of experiments, and this guy gets contaminated, which is in most of these movies, and he coughs up a bug, and the bug grows into be a big alien monster. And they are isolated because they're trapped in this hospital, although it looks like an industrial warehouse. Like many of these movies, there's a lot of crazy blue lighting. The alternate title for this movie, instead of Blue Monkey, which is a terrible title, is Insect. And, of course, they have to go into the warehouse and kill the bug. But it's a lot of fun. Definitely worth checking out. I'm totally buying the Blu-ray because it is an enjoyable movie.
Yeah, I just Blue Monkey. What the hell are they thinking?
I just Googled it on my phone, and what came up was a party store in Columbus here.
That's funny. Yeah, I forget who. I think it's Code Red is doing the new Blu-ray. I think the release date was like December 7th. And I think Amazon has like $20. And it's not great like all of these, but it's low budget, but it's fun. Steve Railsback from Life Force is in it. And this guy, this Canadian guy, made a couple other good movies. And I just watched Spasms, which is a lot of fun. That's with what's his name from Curse of the Werewolf? I got the olds. I can't remember his name.
Oliver Reed.
Oliver Reed, yeah. Spasms, yeah. Not an alien movie, but that's a fun one. But yeah, so Blue Monkey. And I think that's all I have. Oh, yeah, and I found this. Well, technically, all right, there's one more.
Go ahead.
Return of the Aliens Deadly Spawn.
Oh, yeah.
AKA the Deadly Spawn. Not really an alien ripoff, but the return of the they were trying to cash in. But a great looking monster. And
I love that movie. That movie is so much fun.
So much fun. And I found this in my collection. I'm like, Jesus, I don't know if I ever even watched this. This is from 1990. Synapse put this out. Obviously an alien ripoff. I don't even know how you pronounce it.
Yep, I remember that.
And I'm like, all right, I need to watch this because this totally looks like a terrible alien ripoff.
Yeah. That movie is not very good, but the creature is awesome.
Oh, in this one,
I rented that on VHS.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. And this was the only thing. I have a ton of alien stuff, but most of it's packed away. Like I know on the show we did the other day, somebody mentioned the Big Kenner alien. I would have loved to show those off, but I had this in the bedroom, so I figured I'd show this off. This is from 1979. This is the original Collegeville kids Halloween costume. From Ben Cooper.
Yeah.
This is the mask, and the dome is kind of clear and see-through, and I love the cheesy 70s graphics.
The box is in nice shape.
Yeah, this was a good pickup. I got this at some toy show. I don't think it'll fit, but I did get the large in case I get down a good 250 pounds. Then maybe I could fit in this. But anyway.
When I was a kid and I got those costumes, I was like 7, and I hated the fact that they put a picture of who you are on your chest.
It makes no sense.
Be Batman, and it's not the Batman costume. It's a picture of Batman. Like this is not what Batman looks like.
Right. Yeah, they did it with Darth Vader and Storm.
Yes.
I have 3 Batmans up there, and a couple Planet of the Apes.
That's what I always said about the Joker. What's his name? Who played the Joker in the Justice League and all that crap?
Jared Leto?
Yes. His costume in that movie looked like a Ben Cooper costume because it said ha ha ha. And that's what they
I never thought of that.
His costume.
You know why they put the picture on there? That's for all the dumb parents who are like, oh, don't you look
yes.
Who are you supposed to be?
Who are you supposed to be?
Right. Yeah. I want to ask you guys about 2 movies. This is going to be a little controversial.
Okay.
These are
Texas
classic,
Chainsaw Massacre. I like it.
These are classic movies, but I think they got the Alien vibe and maybe a little bit influenced. Now, I know this is a remake and based on a 30s novel, but there's a total Alien vibe going here. And I mean, Predator, they fought the original Alien in the movie, so not ripoff, but
absolutely. I mean, I would say that influenced both movies, particularly The Thing, because that's another. You've got the isolation, of course, like you said, it's a remake, but you've got the slimy monster.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think both of those.
Yeah, I'm a fan of both, big time. They're both great.
Yeah.
Yes, and I got this for $30. All 4 movies. 4K.
I have that too. That's a great set.
Yeah.
That's class. Yeah, I mean, I have the Alien and the Predator both tattooed on my leg. I mean, I love. I never got The Thing, but never say never. I'm not dead yet. So
3 months ago, I owned 1 Blu-ray, Star Trek.
Really?
Look at me now. Look at me now. 4K coming out my ears.
How many you got?
I spent about 4K on 4K so far.
That's funny.
I got about a little
over
20.
What were you watching until a month ago?
I would rent movies and put them in my movie diary and move on with my fucking life. I didn't need it on a shelf, but then I bought one and I bought another.
All it takes.
I need another one.
It takes one.
And I got the surround sound and 65.
Oh, now you're
TV
talking.
Upstairs in the bedroom. I shut the door, turn off the lights, and put it in the 4K. I'm always, you know what? You get one 4K that's really good, and it's like cocaine. You're chasing the buzz.
Chasing that high.
I want another one like that.
Chase that high.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, the same thing happened here. It's like we got the 4K 75-inch TV, and then the kids got me the 4K Blu-ray for Christmas, and then I was like, I'm plopping DVDs in there, and I'm like, this looks like shit. And then I got like 4K
no
disc. I don't even remember what the first one was, and I'm like, holy crap, look at that. And I'm looking here, I'm like, I gotta go replace all these. And
Pete, I got a 75-inch 4K TV in the living room. The wife watches gardening how-to videos on YouTube on it all fucking day. I got to go upstairs. I had to buy that TV to watch what you're supposed to watch on TVs. I said, put the gardening thing on your phone. I'll watch a movie. No, got to be in 4K, that gardening video.
That's funny.
What a waste. Oh, well. So there you have it, everybody. Alien ripoffs. I'm sure there are some that we have missed. I think we hit on most of the big ones, but there's probably a bunch out there that we have not. So for those of you watching, please put them in the comments below. And I want to thank Chris and Jamie for this great topic. This was
a great topic.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah,
it's great to be back.
There you go. Good to have you back, right? So visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Chris, are we on target for what we've been talking about for next week? Or you don't know yet?
Possibly.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So
I remember you said I remember you said the 30th was out, right? So I think you said the 30th was out. So it's either next week or I guess after the 30th.
All right, we'll make it work. I mean, we may be able to do the 30th too. I don't know. Anyway, what we're talking about, everybody watching, is this our favorite 10 modern horror films post 2000. So the reason why we haven't brought you that yet is because we're working out scheduling with Dave LaGreca. So he's been quite busy, as you can imagine. You know, Mr. Busted Open Radio, he's been busy doing all the wrestling stuff. So we're hoping to bring you that over the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that and a lot more here on the channel. For Chris Laszlo and Jamie Laszlo, I am Pete Pardo. Good night, everybody. See you next week.
Bye.